American Urban Legends Iceberg. America is full of stories people still whisper about in the dark. Some live in forests, some wait on empty roads, and some should have stayed buried. Today we're diving into the American Urban Legends Iceberg. The deeper we go, the darker it gets. Let's begin. Layer 1. Bigfoot. Bigfoot is one of America's most famous cryptids. It is usually described as a massive, hairy creature walking upright through the forests of the Pacific Northwest. Many people claim to have seen huge footprints left behind in the mud. Others say they only saw a shadow moving between the trees. No definitive proof has ever been found, but the legend refuses to die. Mothman. Mothman is closely tied to Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Witnesses described a tall winged creature with glowing red eyes. The sightings became famous in the 1960s. Soon after, a terrible bridge collapse shook the town. That is why many people see Mothman as a warning sign. Not a monster, but an omen. Jersey Devil. The Jersey Devil is the most famous creature of New Jersey's Pine Barrens. It is often described as having wings, hooves, and a horrifying scream. Legend says it was born cursed, and that it escaped into the forest the moment it came into the world. People still claim to hear it at night, especially where the trees grow too thick. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary is one of America's best-known mirror legends. The story says that if you say her name enough times in front of a mirror, she appears. Many people first hear this story as children, but it stays unsettling even as adults, because dark rooms, mirrors, and silence do strange things to the mind. And some fears never really grow old. Layer 2. Goatman. Goatman appears in many parts of America with different details. Usually, it is described as something half human and half goat. It is often linked to isolated roads, forests, and abandoned bridges. Some stories say it attacks, others say it only watches. That uncertainty is what makes it so effective. You'd never quite know what it wants. The Hookman. The Hookman is one of the oldest American warning legends. The story usually begins with a couple parked somewhere remote at night. Then a radio report warns them that a killer with a hook for a hand is nearby. They try to ignore it, until they hear metal scraping against the car. The fear comes from realizing danger was already close. Dogman. Dogman is often described as a werewolf-like creature seen in places like Michigan. Unlike a classic wolf, it is said to walk on two legs. It is large, muscular, and often seen standing still in the dark. Witnesses talk about glowing eyes and unnatural howls. Some say it only watches people. Others believe it hunts them. Thunderbird. Thunderbird has roots in older, indigenous traditions, but it also lives on in modern American fear stories. It is described as an enormous bird with impossible wingspan. Sometimes people say it looked bigger than a car. Sometimes they only remember the shadow passing above them. Its power comes from scale, because things from the sky always feel more unnatural when they are too large to understand. Layer 3. The Headless Horseman. The Headless Horseman is one of the most enduring figures in American ghost folklore. It usually appears as a rider on horseback with no head. It is most often seen at night on roads few people use after dark. Some stories say it is searching for something. Others say it is searching for someone. Either way, it never feels like a harmless ghost story. It feels like a warning. The Bunny Man. The Bunny Man is one of the strangest urban legends in America. It is often described as a figure in a rabbit costume carrying an axe. The legend is especially tied to Virginia and the so-called Bunny Man Bridge. Some say it was once human. Others think it was never fully human to begin with. What makes it unsettling is how absurd it sounds, until it doesn't. The Vanishing Hitchhiker. This is one of the most widespread road ghost stories in America. A driver picks up a quiet stranger at night. The passenger seems cold, distant, and strange. Then, at some point in the drive, they disappear. Later, the driver learns that person died years ago. The story works because it turns an ordinary act into something haunted. A simple ride becomes contact with the dead. The Smiling Man. The Smiling Man looks human at first. That is exactly what makes him so disturbing. Witnesses describe a man standing or moving strangely at night with a wide, unnatural smile. Sometimes he looks like he's dancing. Sometimes he just stares. He does not need to attack. The smile is enough. Layer 4. Wendigo. The Wendigo is one of the darkest legends in North America. It is tied to hunger, greed, and cannibalism. Some descriptions make it sound skeletal and half-starved. Others say it was once human. That is what makes it terrifying. The idea that a person can become something human through desperation. It is not just a monster story. It is a warning about what people can become. Skinwalker. Skinwalker stories are deeply tied to Navajo tradition and are often treated with great seriousness. It is usually described as a dark, witch-like being able to take animal form. Some stories say it mimics voices. Some say it calls people by name from the dark. Its power is not just what it is. Its power is that it can look or sound like something familiar, and that makes it much worse. The Black-Eyed Children. The Black-Eyed Children are one of modern America's creepiest legends. They appear as ordinary children at first, but their eyes are completely black. Witnesses say they ask to be let inside homes or cars, and being near them creates an overwhelming feeling of dread. The most disturbing part is how polite they seem, like they need permission to enter. The Shadow People. Shadow people are not one fixed creature. They're more like a repeating nightmare. People claim to see them standing in doorways, hallways, or beside beds, usually only for a second, sometimes only out of the corner of the eye. The less clearly they are seen, the worse they feel, because the mind fills in the rest. Layer 5. The Rake. The Rake became famous through modern internet horror, but it grew into something larger. It is described as pale, thin, and deeply inhuman in the way it moves. Some say they saw it crouched at the foot of their bed. Others say they saw it in forests late at night. Its design is simple, but that is why it works. It feels like the kind of thing you might only notice when it is already not too close. Slender Man. Slender Man began as an internet creation, but it quickly became much more than a simple fictional image. It is usually described as tall, faceless, and dressed in black. It appears in forests, empty spaces, and distorted memories. What makes it especially unsettling is how deeply it crossed into real life. Some people stopped treating it like fiction, and that made the legend darker than it was meant to be. Melonheads. Melonheads are small human-like beings with unnaturally large heads. They are often said to live in remote woods or abandoned areas. Some versions say they were once children used in experiments. Others treat them as a distorted offshoot of humanity. They are not truly monsters in the traditional sense. They are worse than that. They are almost human. Lizard Man. The Lizard Man is a reptilian creature most often associated with South Carolina. It is said to have scales, claws, glowing eyes, and enormous strength. Witnesses have claimed that it attacked dot vehicles and moved through swamps at night. It feels different from wolves, ghosts, or demons. Its fear comes from how alien it sounds, like something that does not belong in American folklore at all, and yet somehow does. Layer 6. Fresno Nightcrawler. The Fresno Nightcrawler is one of the strangest entities in modern American legend. It looks almost impossible. A pale figure that seems to be little more than a pair of walking legs. It became known through eerie video footage. No one can fully explain what it is. It does not resemble a person. It does not resemble an animal. And that makes it deeply unsettling. Flatwoods Monster. The Flatwoods Monster is tied to one of America's strangest close encounter stories. Witnesses described a towering figure with glowing eyes and an unnatural body. Some people think it was an alien. Others think it was something paranormal. Its terror comes from not fitting into any familiar category. It does not feel like a ghost or a beast. It feels like something from outside reality. Bell Witch. The Bell Witch is not just a ghost story. It is a story about something that seemed aware, aggressive, and intelligent. The entity was said to speak, touch people, and torment a family directly. That is what makes it worse than a simple haunting. It was not just present, it interacted. And anything that can answer back is always more frightening. Dover Demon. The Dover Demon is small, thin, and deeply unnatural in appearance. Witnesses described huge glowing eyes and a body that did not seem fully human. It appeared only briefly, but those brief sightings were enough, because it did not resemble anything familiar. Not a ghost, not an animal, not an alien in the usual sense. Just something wrong. Missing 411. At the bottom of the iceberg, the fear changes. Now it is no longer about one creature. It is about disappearances in the wilderness that seem impossible to explain. People vanish in national parks. Children are found far away from where they should be. Sometimes there are no footprints, no struggle, no logic. And maybe that is the most terrifying legend of all. Not knowing what took them. That was the American Urban Legends Iceberg. And the deeper we went, the less these stories felt like fiction. Some legends fade, others stay with us, and some never really leave. Which one disturbed you the most? Tell me in the comments. Like and subscribe for more dark stories.